Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we're talking about what happens when we have Ketu placed in the 11th house in our birth chart. So before we get into all that good stuff, I'd just like to let you guys know that I am a Vedic astrologer. I do have Vedic astrology readings and consultations available. So if you want to book those, go ahead and go to my website, gebotheshaman.com, and I have sales and bundle sales on all my courses, products, services, everything that I have to offer. So go check those out as well. So I have my Qigong courses on sale, my Vedic astrology certification course on sale, astrology consultations on sale, and birth time rectifications on sale, as well as all the other things that you see in that list right there. So alright, so let's get into it. So what is Ketu in the 11th house? What does that mean? So in order to understand the meaning of Ketu in the 11th house, we need to understand what Ketu means, and then we'll talk about what the 11th house means. We'll put them together and create our own analysis from that. So what is Ketu? So Ketu is the planet of detachment. It is the planet of meditation, isolation, and Ketu. So in order to understand Ketu, we need to understand Rahu. So in Vedic mythology, which is true, it's not people take the word mythology out of context and think that it's just made up fairy tales. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. So in Vedic mythology, we have basically Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu is the head of this asura, this quote-unquote demon, but it's not a demon as in terms of like Christianity. It's an earthly spirit, a spirit that wants to enjoy the earthly pleasures. And so what happens is he gets his head cut off, so it becomes two as he's drinking the soma, the elixir of immortality, eternal life, and whatever. He drinks it, and then Vishnu sees it. I think it's Vishnu. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, someone sees him doing this, and then they snap and realize that he's an asura because he was disguised. So they realize, and then they chop off his head. And so there we have Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is the head, Ketu is the body, and so in order to understand Ketu, we need to understand Rahu. So Rahu wants to go into the world. He wants to dive deep in. He wants to. I shouldn't say dive deep. He wants to go into the materialism of the world, and he wants to consume it, and he wants to enjoy it and feel satiated by it. And so what happens is he's never satiated because materialistic things can never satiate you, can never satisfy you on a spiritual level. So Ketu is the exact opposite to that. So Ketu wants to go into spirituality. And so Ketu, the thing with Ketu is he says, okay, yeah, I've been there, I've done that, I've had all my material pleasures, I've had all my earthly desires, and what do I have to show for it? Nothing. It wasn't that satisfying. It wasn't satisfying. So I need to go into spirituality and find, peace in meditation. So Ketu goes into spirituality. So, Ketu is a meditator, a monk, and all that stuff. So, yeah. Then we have, so that's a big, long explanation on Ketu. Then we'll talk about the 11th house. So, what is the 11th house? The 11th house is the house of your gains, the house of your finances, the house of your friendships and your network circles, and it's humanitarianism, large organizations, things like that. And so it's all those things. It's your gains, network circles. 11th house is like innovations and things like that. So, what happens when we have Ketu in the 11th house? Well, Ketu wants to be of service. Ketu wants to give back to humanity. He wants to, he also, so this is a placement where Ketu says, okay, I've had enough of, Ketu is like the ultimate humanitarian here. So you might be a really good people person. Like you might make friendships like crazy, and you might really get along well with people and know how to do very well in social circles. However, Ketu is saying, yeah, I've had enough of this social circles and this networks and even income. Like, Ketu in the 11th house knows how to make income, knows how to get money flowing in. However, he's like, yeah, money, it doesn't satisfy me though. So if you have Ketu in the 11th house, that means you'll have Rahu in the 5th house. Why? Because 5 and 11 are opposite houses from each other. So, Rahu in the 5th house says, I want to experience me. I want everything to be about me. I want to please myself, and I want to be all about me, all about my self-expression, all about my individuality. And Ketu says, well, that's interesting, but I've already, Ketu is very in a humanitarian position right now, so, or in your chart, so basically how you balance this out is there's a balance between your Rahu, which wants to be all about the self, and your Ketu, which wants to be all about others, and so there needs to be balance there, because you can't, it's just if you, like Ketu in the 11th house, if you make yourself your whole life all about other people and being of service and things like that, well, that's not going to do well for you. It's like you gotta put yourself first, and when your cup is full, then you're at a better place to give to others. So, yeah. Anyway, let's see here. So, Ketu in the 11th house. So in terms of your finances, your 11th house represents your incoming gains. And, there might be some incoming gains from spirituality, from meditation. So if you if you want to earn more money, meditate. You could be a meditation teacher. You could teach meditation to large groups of people, large organizations. You could teach meditation and spiritual practices to large groups of people. And so that could be an avenue of income for you. Of course, all these things are going to depend on the sign placement that you have here. However, I'm just talking about generalities. So, what happens when we have this placement in terms of our friendships and network circles? Like, there's, like, honestly, you might not have very many friends. You might have very few friends, in fact. You might have just, like, maybe a couple close friends. This placement breeds isolation in terms of your friends groups. So, like I said, the Rahu placement in the 5th house is going to make you very self-centered and, yeah, to some extent. However, like the Ketu placement is going to make you very caring about others. So it's this push and pull dynamic. So, yeah. Let me see here. So in terms of friends groups, you might not have any friends or very many friends, but you do care about people and you do want, but it's, there's also, this term of dissatisfaction. So whatever friendships you do make, they might not, they might not satisfy you as much as you want them to, or they might, like, just, yeah, they're just not as satisfying. So, all right, guys. So, I made a video about Rahu in the 5th house, and so that's a great video if you want to check it out. So that'll be on my channel. So yeah, Rahu in the 5th house, like if you look at your Rahu placement, Rahu in the 5th house, Rahu wants romance. He wants that connection with others. So, like maybe in the past or in a past life you wanted this like strong connection with large groups of people. That would be your Ketu placement. But in this life, you want that connection with your spouse, with the romantic partner, and things like that. So, Rahu in the 5th house, instead of being in large groups and network circles and things like that, Rahu in the 5th house is all about one-on-one connection, personal, romantic connection, things like that. So yeah. I also do have I have a series on Rahu and Ketu through all the houses as well. So you can definitely check out that series as well. Alright guys, so that does it for me. That pretty much wraps it up for me. And yeah, so if you're interested in anything that I have to offer, I do have my Qigong courses on sale. I have this beginner's Qigong, and then I have this, which is basically a combination of Kundalini Yoga, Qigong, and meditation. So you can see me doing some yoga there. So that is a great synergistic combination of energy work practices that will transform your body and your life to the next level. So, so that's really great opportunity there to take it to, I named it self-transformation for that reason, because it is a very transformative practice. So then we have the Cosmic Qigong, just a beginner's Qigong course. That's super easy, super awesome. And then we have the Astrology certification course. So that course takes you through step A through step Z of how I do a Vedic astrology reading. It basically teaches you everything you need to know in that course, and so it basically gives you like the entire outline. I mean, I couldn't make it any easier to become a certified Vedic astrologer and start making some money. So I have like an instruction manual, I have guides, I have a PDF documents, multiple documents of everything that you'll need for an astrology reading. So it's a wealth of information, a wealth of resources, and things like that. And then we have the astrology consultation. So I do have my astrology reading consultation. I have a career consultation and relationship consultations, basically looking at your Vedic astrology chart and seeing what you like, just the different things in your chart, the things that you need to know about your career, your relationships, and just your life in general, because it can be very, very challenging at times, but also there's a lot to be learned from Vedic astrology. Then we have the birth time rectifications. So those are great. If you don't know your exact birth time, highly recommend getting yourself a birth time rectification. That basically, I ask you some very basic questions, some very simple questions, and I basically find out your birth time. I go through all the ascendants in your time range, and I look for the one that you resonate with, that makes most sense. And then I go into your divisional charts, and I go into depth on each one of those and stuff like that. So it takes me a while to determine your birth time. However, it is totally worth it, because it gives you an accurate time of birth down to the minute. And that's not something that most astrologers can offer. Most astrologers, either they don't want to do it or they don't have the time to do it, but I do, so I do it. Alright, and then we have the career coaching and life coaching. So, if you are one of those people who is struggling in life, who is having a difficult time, I've had my fair share of difficult times in my life, and I have come out the other end of that. So it's really, really good to have somebody in your corner who is experienced with having difficult times. And, depression, anxiety, all kinds of stuff. Childhood trauma, all just a plethora of things we can talk about in that life coaching session and career coaching session. Then we have the trauma healing course. So I do have a trauma healing course. I am actively trying to work on that. I will be working on that after I work on my book. So it might be a while before I get to that, but I do have that course available. I do have a lot of good stuff on that course right now. So if you want, you can check out that. That is available on my Patreon, patreon.com/Gebo the Shaman. And then we have the distance energy healing. So if you are, sick or suffering any kind of mental, physical, emotional illness or sickness, I would highly recommend and encourage you to get the distance energy healing that will help you to be just more in tune with the energy of your body and heal yourself. And how are we on time? All right, so I'm trying to wrap this up. So another thing is that I will be doing basically a yoga class and a astrology class. So if you are in the Albuquerque or Bernalillo, New Mexico area, I will be teaching a class here. So that'll be in May. So May 20th, I think, is the date. So go check that out. I check out my Facebook page to keep updated on that. And yeah, I will begin to teach some classes. So anyway, guys, if you're interested in anything that I have to offer, once again, go to gebotheshaman.com and we will talk to you then. Alright? Peace. Take care, guys. Love you guys.